Today's session is led by Agile Client Integration Success Manager Cassie Bruce, who will explore why education data is uniquely complex and how organizations can move from messy, mismatched records to a clean, unified audience view. Designed for data, marketing, sales, and IT teams working with K-12, early childhood, higher ed, and public library data, this session focuses on reducing bad records, improving cross-system matching, and creating a dependable single view of institutions and contacts. Cassie will break down why role churn, shared email domains, duplicate institution names, and siloed systems make education data integration so difficult. You'll also see how Agile's continually updated education exclusive database supports this framework through Connect Link, Agile Connect, Agile Insight, and the Lookup API, and how to standardize incoming data, reduce mismatches and stale records, and keep your CRM and marketing systems aligned. The result is cleaner lists, fewer errors, stronger segmentation, and more confident decision-making. Let's dive in and explore how to move from disconnected records to a truly unified education audience view in 2026.
Hi, my name is Cassie Bruce. I am the Director of Integration Client Success here at Agile, and I've been working with Agile for about 5 years now. Today, we're going to talk about overcoming common CRM data challenges in education. This video is for data, marketing, sales, and IT teams working with K-12, early childhood, higher ed, and public library data in CRMs and marketing platforms. The outcomes we're looking for are fewer bad records, better matching across systems, and a reliable single view of institutions and contacts. Clients come to us looking for help cleaning up their data. They've brought in data from multiple sources, have trouble with bounced emails and duplicate records, and reports just don't match reality. Agile is an education-exclusive data provider with continually updated database of institutions and personnel across schools, districts, higher ed, childcare, and libraries. This session will show where our various products fit into solving these problems. Agile Connect for HubSpot and Marketo, Connect Link for Salesforce, Agile Insight, and the Lookup API tool. Education data integration can be hard for a few reasons. There are some unique characteristics of education that make it challenging. For personnel, we see constant role churn, so teachers, libraries, administrators that are either changing roles or institutions. We see about 25% turnover of personnel each year, so there's a lot of movement going on. And we also see personnel with active roles at multiple institutions. So maybe somebody works at a library, at multiple branches, or they work at 2 different schools within the district, or maybe a position at the school and the district. For institutions, we see places that have shared addresses. So maybe the elementary and high schools share the same address, even though they're really all on one campus. We also see where there are multiple campuses or different branches, and there are a lot of variations in how institutions are named in different systems. Email domains are another place where we see challenges. So there's a lot of domain sharing in this industry. A lot of times multiple institutions and sometimes entire states will share the same email domain. This is a field that HubSpot uses for automatic associations a lot, which can cause a lot of issues. Email domain changes are also very common. So districts will change vendors. There may be a brief period where, the old domain and the new domain work, but eventually all of your emails will start to bounce. Across kind of every industry, we've also got some other problems that we see. So more general problems include merging in data from multiple sources, duplicates, and then just stale data where the data is in your CRM, it hasn't been updated. More and more people become inactive, and all of a sudden things just really become out of date. Solving these challenges requires a few things. We're looking for a shared authoritative data source, a clear matching and unique identification strategy, and automated education-aware integrations. First, let's talk a little about merging data from multiple sources. Let's think about how your team might receive data. Maybe your inbound leads go to a website and fill out a form. You're getting lists from federal, state, and local governments. Somebody finds funding announcements online and enters in the related accounts. Or maybe your reps are just manually entering in data that they find online. People are also using AI and web scraping tools that could have old or unreliable data. And then you've got different teams that are purchasing data or finding it through separate sources. Each source may use different IDs, naming conventions, and field structures, leading to difficulty aligning everything within your CRM or marketing platform. Some practical solutions include defining a golden record. So, which system is a system of record for each domain? We also recommend standardizing key fields so that the data is coming in as cleanly as possible, whether it's institution name, the address, city and state, grade range, library type, etc. If possible, set up controlled pick lists and make important fields required when you're creating or updating records. We also want to standardize the forms for inbound leads. Sometimes I see where people have fields that they've added to their CRM based on lead forms, and there are like 15 fields that hold somebody's name. So getting things that are standardized and bringing those into the, kind of regular field will help to streamline everything and make your life a little bit more easy. We also recommend using unique identifiers, either internal and or external IDs to anchor your records across systems. Some pitfalls where people fall into here are they try to use an email address. An email address is not a good unique identifier. Email domains change all the time. People's names change. And we also see, unfortunately, either shared email addresses or reused ones. Fortunately, there's schools that have principal@school.com or superintendent@district.com. If that's your unique identifier, you won't be able to add the new superintendent whenever they get added. The old one will just be there forever. Institution names are also not a good unique identifier. There are 200 schools or districts nationwide, 32 in California alone, whose name contains or equals Jefferson Elementary. Adding the state in brackets at the end of the name is not enough. Sometimes that can be helpful for your reps to see whenever they're trying to find the record that they want, but we just see more and more brackets getting added at the end of those names, and it's still just not unique. This can cause a lot of problems when people are trying to merge in data from multiple sources. Suddenly your Jefferson Elementary that is in California is changed, the state changes to Illinois, the phone number is still in California. You go and look at the record and try to figure out which institution it is, and you just can't tell. Agile's data and integrations and other products can help. We maintain an authoritative education-specific database with unique identifiers for institutions and for personnel. We do continual year-round updates, and we have over 300 data points available. So odds are we have the data that you need for multiple teams, all from one source. For our integrations, we have ConnectLink. So ConnectLink will link your Salesforce accounts, contacts, and leads to our database using a unique ConnectLink key, which is our unique identifier. This enables us to update your records and also add new records without any manual data imports. Agile Connect is our integration for HubSpot or Marketo. It links directly to our database, and it allows your accounts and contacts to be matched and then enriched with consistent education-specific attributes. If you're looking to standardize data coming in through those forms on your website and reduce form abandonment, we have a lookup API tool that connects to our database. We'll standardize the data that's coming in. And a lot of times people only have to enter in their email instead of every piece of information. Through Agile Insight, that's our matching tool. So you can upload, say, a list from a conference, use it to match the records. We can then attach our unique identifiers, standardize the data, and help to fill in missing fields. The benefits here, of course, are less time on your part spent merging spreadsheets and manually uploading data into your CRM. It'll also help just having a single streamlined source will help with consistent segmentation and consistent data in those fields across K-12, higher ed, and library records inside of your CRM. The next challenge we're going to talk about is matching and deduplicating contacts in institution. Matching is a little tricky. Some issues we see are where we've got an educator who is in a database a couple of times under a slight name or email variation. You'll see a Cassie and a Cassandra. Are those the same person? If so, then you've got a duplicate, but because you were just using the name for matching, it doesn't always work. We also see multiple people that are merged incorrectly because they have a common name or a generic email pattern. So say you've got a J Smith at district.com. After a few years, when the first J Smith has gone, we get a new J Smith. And then when you're working on merging records, all of it kind of gets lumped into one, despite the fact that you've got two different people. We see contacts that they were originally associated with one institution and then they moved to a new one. They'll still be associated with that old school, which can cause some problems in reporting and just clarity whenever you're trying to call someone or send an email about where they actually work. We see a lot of times in people's databases where you've got multiple contact records for one person because they've got multiple active roles. Maybe they're the superintendent at a couple of different districts, say in a charter setup or something, or they are, a teacher at two different schools. We'll see one person have, a record for each of those. For most databases now and most CRMs and marketing systems, you can do a one-to-many relationship. So you can have one contact with a role at both institutions. We also see some institutions that are in with, multiple copies of the same institution that have the same name or confusing abbreviations and similar addresses. And generally, duplicates are they're hard. Education-aware duplicate rules are important because sometimes kind of the standard rules they send to you will falsely flag things as duplicates. Say the district and a school, they'll just say this is all the same thing. It's got the similar address. It's got a very similar name, but really those are, distinct institutions. And then sometimes they miss them entirely because of the way that there are so many abbreviations and variations in the data. Practical approaches for better matching include defining some matching rules. So you want to use combinations of multiple data points for contacts, things like email, their related institution, job title, location. More fields are generally better to drive confidence rather than relying on one field. The same goes for institutions. Only the email domain, as we talked about, is not going to work very well. So you're going to want to use multiple data points to help identify better matches. And always use fuzzy matching carefully. If there are high-risk merges or important targets, you want to be careful with those and have some type of manual review before you just hit the merge all button on your duplicate tool. We also want to establish deduplication policies. So set up some rules and then use those. If you need to update the rules, of course you should, but having a standard set of rules that you use every time will save time and keep you from reinventing the wheel. So some examples might be, keep the record that has CRM activity, has unique IDs, things like that, so that you know which record when you're merging is going to be the winner. And then we want to schedule regular times to do deduplication and assign an ownership of who's going to review any ambiguous matches. Our integrations can help with this, of course. So ConnectLink, during the onboarding, we will run your data through our database to match your records and assign unique identifiers. So that'll anchor your future updates to the correct institution or educator. It'll also prevent duplicates whenever we insert new records. Then it has bulk and on-demand updates to refresh fields based on that unique identifier, add our data, enrich your existing records. And this will reduce manual updates, which will reduce those mismatches or duplicates. Agile Connect for Marketo or HubSpot will directly link your data there with ours. It matches your data automatically and then enriches it with education-specific fields while leveraging our own matching logic so that they're as accurate as possible. Some outcomes we're looking for, here are fewer duplicate contacts, fewer incorrectly linked records, and more accurate segmentation and reporting across email campaigns and sales pipelines. The next challenge we're going to talk about is preventing bad and stale data. So I'm sure that you have seen this. Somebody has manually entered in the data. There are typos in the email address or the institution name or even the state if you have an enforced pick list. And then later, your automations and reporting just don't really work right because of those typos or problems. See a lot of stale data. So things are constantly changing. Personnel turnover up to like 25% every year. So you have to find a way to keep your information up to date and get the old bad data out of there so that it's not causing issue. Inactive personnel we see lingering for years in people's database, which, if you're not careful, can damage your sender reputation, skew reporting, and lead to wasting time from your reps trying to figure out, who actually works here today. Some practical solutions here are to use input controls. So use standardized form with validation on those key fields so that things are coming in cleanly, and limit who is creating new institutions. define clear rules for whenever you should update something versus create a new record, assign data owners and simple SLAs for how quickly new data sources are reviewed and loaded into your database, and then implement scheduled review checkpoints for your high-value targets, say your key district or top accounts, strategic partners. Those will need higher reviews since they're most important to your business. And then we want to remove inactive personnel at regularly planned intervals. Display the status field prominently on the page. Make sure that people are aware who is inactive. Make sure that whenever you're doing email sends or campaigns that you exclude inactive people so that you don't have a bunch of bounces. Our role in keeping the data fresh, we have a rigorous year-round data validation and update processes for our education database, capturing role and institution changes across public, private, Catholic schools and districts, higher ed, childcare, and libraries. ConnectLink will allow you to sync your Salesforce records with our updated data via scheduled updates as often as once a week. There are also on-demand record syncs so that you can get the latest institution information with the click of a button. We can also help kind of bring data in with ConnectLink. So you can either import all of the institutions that you have licensed from us, or if you're looking just kind of for one new record, you can search for that account. And then it will import the record with everything you need already standardized, so you don't have to type everything out. We suggest regularly using the tools to import new institutions so that they're always there, and then you can add data as you need to, as opposed to having to, search for it. You can also use the matching tool. So if you manually enter an account or a contact, a lead, you can click the matching button. It'll try to find a match within our database. If the record is already in Salesforce, it'll suggest merging it so that you can merge it right away. And then it will also allow you to sync the data to fill in, all of your fields that you've chosen from us. Agile Connect is similar. It delivers current education, contact, and institution data right into HubSpot or Marketo so that your teams avoid sending campaigns to bad addresses or personnel who don't work there anymore. You can customize when the integration creates new institutions or personnel. Most of our clients set it up to auto import every week, but you can also fetch records manually. We always include a status field that you can use to filter. So before you send a campaign, check the status, and then Agile Connect will automatically match the records in your system so that they are enriched with up-to-date information. The result is cleaner lists, fewer email bounces, and more accurate targeting without relying solely on internal manual maintenance. To kind of bring everything together, the unified view we're looking for here is a single consistent representation of each institution and contact that's shared across your CRM, marketing automation tools, and analytics. We want the ability to see engagement history and current attributes for librarians or district leaders or faculty members, regardless of where it first came from. So the steps kind of to get there are to clarify a system of record and golden record strategies for your institutions and contacts, implement matching and deduplication rules, and schedule regular cleanup of your database. Put some basic data governance in place so that you can prevent bad entries. Always easier to prevent problems than it is to clean them up. And then connect your CRM and marketing platforms to an authoritative education data source, such as our integrations. For Salesforce-centered teams, ConnectLink is a great fit. You can link your existing accounts, contacts, and leads to our database and keep them current through scheduled or on-demand updates. For HubSpot and Marketo-centered teams, Agile Connect will help you to directly enrich and maintain your education data, eliminating those manual imports and enabling cleaner, smarter workflows. Both of our integrations have managed records as well. So existing records can be updated along with your licensed data, which is really helpful. You will, to make the integrations work, you license data from us. You'll pick titles and the types of institutions you want, but there already are records in your database. Those managed records allow us to update those as well. So even if it's not someone with a title that you've chosen to license, we'll update their status, we'll give you their current email address, and so forth. If you're not using, Salesforce or HubSpot or Marketo, all of our data comes with a unique identifier. You can use Agile Insight to match your existing database, append our unique identifiers to your existing records, and then use that when you're importing your data. Use those to update your existing data or decide if you need to create a new record. All of this is going to lead to cleaner, connected data across libraries, K-12, and higher ed to prevent or to allow better targeting, fewer errors, and more confident decision making. I invite you to audit your data integration setup using the challenge that we've talked about and see where you can make improvement. Reach out to us if you want to explore how ConnectLink for Salesforce and Agile Connect for HubSpot or Marketo can streamline your education data workflows and resolve your specific integration hurdles. You can also run your files through Agile Insight for free, get a data health report, and kind of see what the shape of your data is, how many duplicates are in there, et cetera. And then we can talk about, projects to work on cleaning up the data from there. So for kind of follow-ups, you could get a technical demo where we can show you more about the integrations, or we can schedule a shorter workshop style session focused on building a data quality playbook for education teams. No data will ever be perfect. No database is ever going to be free of errors. It is data that is used by your teams and updated all the time. But we want to use practical solutions to make sure that things are as streamlined as possible and your teams have reports that they can count on, and you are spending less time cleaning everything up and more time actually doing your job.
Thank you for joining Agile's 2026 webinar, Solving Education Data Integration, Building a Reliable Single View Across CRM and Marketing Systems. We hope today's session with Cassie Bruce gave you practical strategies to reduce bad records, improve cross-system matching, and build a more reliable education audience view. To learn more about how Agile supports cleaner, connected data through ConnectLink, Agile Connect, Agile Insight, and the Lookup API, explore the downloadable resources included with this session. Thank you for watching.